All right, so today we're talking to the one and only Britnie Thompson. She's with Faith First Financials, and we were talking about the principles of money and finances and financial literacy, financial freedom. You kind of already touched on 1 and 4, but let's go ahead and take them from 1 through 4 real quick.
Okay. So principle number 1 is not what you make, but what you keep that determines financial success. Pay yourself first and save what you pay yourself.
And that's the 10% we referred to earlier.
Yes.
Okay.
And so we'll get deeper into that on step 2, which is to create a plan for consistently adding money to this account. Each time you get paid from now on, pay yourself 10% of your income into this account. It's only 10%, but it will grow your savings and your net worth.
Okay.
More quick than you think.
Right. So going back to the 10%, just to be clear, this is what you're putting in savings. Not what you're paying yourself to get your nails done, your hair did, and your toes did too.
You gotta save
and
it,
that
y'all.
massage, okay? This is what you're doing. If you make $3,000 in a paycheck, you're going to take $300 and you're going to put it in savings before you spend anything else.
Absolutely.
But you're going to pay yourself first
Yep.
via your savings.
Yes.
Okay.
So let me say this, for the person who may not make $3,000 in a paycheck, what about the ones or the people who make only a couple of $100s? So is there ever a situation, and I say this because I have clients and they talk about this, finances, and I'm no financial guru, so I always refer them to someone like you. But in life right now, there are a lot of people who are flipped upside down.
Absolutely.
A lot of the money are just going to be able to live. You know, so whether you have a mortgage or whether you have rent, and because of some of these big property companies and corporations that are coming in that are hiking up the prices, as well as even what's going on with real estate right now and trying to purchase a home, but even with rent, even within the building that we're in. And I'm going to say this, I'm going to talk about this because it was on the news, but Graystar owns the property of the building that we're in, and Graystar were one of the ones that they actually called part of the cartel, the property management cartel, who are going and raising up these prices, and that are making it
based on demand,
exactly,
and based on the market,
and they don't have to, and then they'll go in and they'll make it look like that their building is 90%, 98% full, and it may not be, because they'll have open spaces or open that they'll say this is a guest suite or this is a something else suite. And then, so what do you say to an individual who is out here trying to save and trying to do it, and they're working, but the money that they make goes toward everything they're doing, and they don't even have enough money to pay themselves 10%?
That's a really good
because
question.
if they pay themselves 10%, it's going to come out of what they got to do to live in their livelihood. What do you say to that individual? How does that person get to be on the track of financial wealth?
So the hard truth is that you have to have something coming in to save something. And the reason why it's so important to create a plan is when you write down that plan, sometimes you find out that you're in the negative. So you got to do something else. So that means you're going to have to get another job.
We talked about this earlier. Bartending, working the club door, whatever
Kelly said earlier.
Yes.
You're going to, I remember when my husband was a personal financial trainer, and he was only bringing in $1,100 per month. And I went on this program, and guys, I was making $12.50 an hour out of bank. Okay, so that wasn't much money. But the thing is that when we wrote down our finances, first, there were things that we knew that we were spending that we didn't have to have. Like, you don't have to have Hulu. That's not a need.
Very true. Very
Because
true.
you can tap into your family members or your friends.
You don't need Netflix. You don't need Netflix.
Yeah, you can tap into your family members or your friends.
Exactly. But no. To your point, oh my gosh, I saw a young lady who asked me, oh, how do you save? I'm trying to save for a down payment for my house. She needed $10,000, right? So I was like, well, you got to be able to pinch something off of what you bring in. And she's like, I'm living check to check. I don't have the money to save. And then a week later, I saw her at one of these little spots that do the crab legs.
Come on now.
The New Orleans boils.
Right.
Her bill, because I asked her when I walked up, hey, how you doing? She's like, hey, girl. I was like, girl, is that your bill? She was like, yeah. I was like, that's for who? She was like, me and my friend, it's her birthday. $150 on some crab legs. But you ain't got money to put up every month? How you get that $150 to pay for that bill?
That's what it is. It's the mindset.
It's the mindset. If it's important, you'll figure out a way to make it happen. If it's not, You'll find an excuse.
And if you don't think it's important and you need that mindset shift, this is a shameless plug that I'm about to do for myself.
Here she goes.
I am a certified professional transformational architect.
Yes.
Which means that I help deal with the transition of that mindset. So when you're in that stuck place and when you feel like, no, I'm doing a redundant cycle. I say I want to do it. I know I'm supposed to do it. I don't do it. And then I come back right here. Well, I help you get off the roller coaster and get off of that. And I give you tangible tools that you can apply without you having to even pick up a finger. If you know how to sit somewhere and think, and you know how to dream or imagine, that I can give you the tools to use to start changing your life. Once you start transforming and you understand, okay, well, I feel different now. I understand these steps and these things work, but now I don't know how to build. That's where the architect piece comes in, and I help you build it out from there. Because there are a lot of things outside of this podcast that we do professionally that really help to impact and change someone's life.
Absolutely.
And those are the thought processes which makes you know that, or makes you even say that, you know what? I'm not going to get my nails done, or I'm not going to eat those crab legs. I'm going to go ahead and put this money or this 10%, or if your 10% is $10, we have to look at it like that, right? Somebody might.
You got to start somewhere.
Well, there's 3 keys to wealth: financial literacy, personal development, changing your mindset, and leveraging systems.
Come
when
on.
you say leveraging systems, you guys are familiar with the cashback apps like Fetch and all that. And people are like, oh, I just saved my receipts, or I get a $5 reward from CVS.
Right.
But actually, there are better platforms out there that will give you a percentage by using, the merchant wants you to use your cash.
Right.
They don't want you to use debit cards or credit cards because they're getting charged those 2 to 3%.
5%.
Yes, but it actually helps. It matters. And you know what the biggest learning, the biggest learning tool to those platforms is not I saved 30 cents.
Yeah.
It's that I planned.
Yes.
That I'm putting my money intentionally in this platform, and that I know where my money is going.
That's right.
And I know what I'm earning on my money. Therefore, I understand my value.
So
Absolutely.
does cash still rule in your mindset? Because you know
Cash
we're in
is
this
always
digital
king
world.
forever.
It is king.
I'll answer for her.
I
but
think
yeah.
so too. I think so too. But
Absolutely.
You hear that we're in a cashless society.
We are
and
in a
credit,
cashless
debit,
society,
and crypto
but
and NIPTO.
the
and
electronic numbers are connected to you, your social, and your identity. So you may have $500,000 worth of assets, and I may have $200,000 worth of assets. But to me, what really comes in play is how much you got in debt. And how do the two work together?
Yeah.
So having said that, let's go back to the next 2 principles, because you went over the first 2. Let's go to the next 2, and then let's talk about, if somebody makes $200,000, they could be broke AF, and then somebody makes $50,000, and they're doing better than that person making $200,000. So let's start with those final 2
How is
principles.
that even possible?
Yeah, it's possible, baby. Right.
So the final principle, actually principle 4, is my favorite principle, and it's stop getting financial advice from broke people.
Ooh.
Say it again, Britney.
Get it only from those who you want to emulate.
Stop getting financial advice from broke people.
Yes.
If you don't have no money, you can't tell me how to save money.
No.
It's kind of like going to a dermatologist for
You got bumpy skin.
if you go, why would you go to a dermatologist if you got a heart issue? You need to go to a cardiologist.
Yes.
If you have a GI issue, which is gastro and intestine, internal, all of that in your gut, why would you go to a dermatologist?
Or
you gotta go to somebody that's doing and specializes in what your issue is.
Or even better than that, because you have some people that are in the field, but they're not good at it. Because you can go to a dermatologist, but if her face bumpy,
That's true.
and if she looked like she got a whole bad acne outbreak, how is she gonna help your acne?
Or what about
Because she can't help her own.
What about a cosmetologist without edges?
Thank you. And her hair looks terrible. So you got to go to someone not only who is in that field, but who knows what they're doing.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
Because I did have a cosmetologist, and I won't put her name out there, but she burnt my edges out. And they still trying to grow back 7 years later. But anyway,
And sometimes we like to support our community, let's face it, as people. This is real talk. And so we'll want to support our friend, we'll want to support our family member. And come to find out they don't know what they're talking about. And because you're being nice, you end up getting burned. Because I ended up trying to support a salon owner one time. Won't name them. edges got burnt. So.
Ooh, I bet she's the same person. What's her name? Oh, we ain't gonna
Y'all
do
got
that.
pretty hair. That's when they burnt y'all edges out. They was
Well, that's
mad.
the
Y'all
thing,
got
girl.
to chill.
Let me tell you something. She put tracks in my hair, the tape-in extensions, and then when it was time to take them out, she used Glue Gun. And it just melted my edges out. Like,
way.
it was awful, y'all. It was like putting Nair on my edges. But anyway,
That was some shade, Kelly.
girl, I still feel some type
Who
of
tried
way.
to take out my sister edges?
Let me tell you.
I'm looking for
Anyways, we'll talk about that off camera. But Britney, how is it that somebody that has a $200,000 income per year and somebody that has a $50,000 income per year, how is it that the person with the higher income can be more broke than the person with the $50,000 income?
Well, I'm going to answer it with our principles again.
Okay.
Because principles are really just habits, right? And so principle number 1 is not what you make, but what you save.
Okay.
So if you have $200,000 coming in, but you're spending $250,000,
Right.
you're $50,000 in the hole.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you have $50,000 coming in and you're spending $25,000, you have $25,000 compounding over time coming to you. Warren Buffett started out with $2,000.
Wow.
Now he's one of the richest men.
Wow.
In the world.
That's powerful
And I love
information.
that- Yes.
Yeah.
I love that you say that's another shameless plug. My father had the privilege of having Warren Buffett as a friend when he started early in his career.
Wow.
Warren Buffett is actually one of the owners of Scott and Fetzer Corporation, which is a part of Kirby, the Kirby Company.
Like the vacuum cleaner Kirby?
The
Oh my
vacuum
God.
cleaner. And my
We got history with that in the
father
family.
was Mr. Artist Webb. Some of you may know him. He is the guru. They call him the head rhino, but he was black man, but one of the top men who rose in that division, one of the only black men who rose in that division. So a part of the accolades, he was a part of the Golden Circle Club, and a part of that you get to meet these millionaires and people behind the company. So Warren Buffett. So he got a chance to go to Warren Buffett's home and spend time with him and understand why Warren said that I don't give my children money.
Yeah.
And they got to work for it. And they not just gonna get, you know what I'm saying, what that is. So I love that. And he was such a frugal person with his money.
Yeah.
It's important to be that way.
Yeah,
right?
definitely. And
It
speaking of being frugal, I think that being frugal is essential.
Yeah.
So let's go over some statistics in the United States
Okay.
as it pertains to, let's say, school loans is huge. College loans is huge.
Yeah.
Debt. Just because you have a $25,000 credit limit on your credit card doesn't mean you have to spend $25,000. So let's go over some of that just to
That's how
kind
they
of give
entice
people
us.
an idea of how that works.
Okay, so when you're talking about credit, and we call that, like when we talk about credit, we talk about installment loans and we talk about revolving accounts. The reason why we talk about a revolving account is because a credit card, you can have $25,000 limit, spend $25,000, pay that $25,000 off, and revolve right back around to having another $25,000 limit. So with a credit card, it's called revolving our utilization ratio, basically. So just because you have $25,000 doesn't mean you spend $25,000 because you may not make $25,000 next month to pay it off.
Yeah.
So you only want a certain percentage reporting to your credit report. They say 30% or less. I go even lower than that. You only want 5 to 10% reporting. That's called debt management.
That's good information. So like 10% of $25,000 is $2,500. So just throwing numbers out there.
Yeah.
So let's go over these percentages of what is the average American? How much are they in debt?
The average American is in debt $117,951, and this is according to the U.S. Census Bureau and the IRS.gov.
Okay.
Oh,
and how
my
much does the average American owe in student loans?
Around $38,000.
Wow.
Do y'all see these numbers? Do you all understand this? This is some great information that you have been given and to us. And I want, before we go, for people to get, how can they get in touch with you? How, if they want to get more information, if they want to be a part of your program, what do they need to do?
So they can call my phone number, which is 864-631-9254. Know more about your financial situation or explain your financial situation, email me at BritnieThompson5@gmail.com.
Excellent.
Awesome. And she's also on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you so much for watching episode 4 of Unfiltered Conversations. We'll be back next Sunday, 7
see you
o'clock
soon.
for episode 5.
Yeah.